Think history is boring and catch yourself snoring, find it worth ignoring, then it's time for a history hook with Mr. Turco. That's me. Chapter 7, Checks, Balances, and Compromises. Time for things that make you go, This is the balancing edition of things that make you go, 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 aww, It's time for a demonstration. Now, unfortunately, I can't pick any of you out there in Radio Land, so instead, I'll choose myself, Mr. Turco. Let's do the demonstration. Demonstration 1. I am going to attempt to balance on this soccer ball without any help. I can't have anything to help me balance. Let's see how well I do. I'm scared. Newsflash, that does not work out too well. Now I'm going to be able to use each of my hands to balance. Let's see how well I can do. It's history! Here's the point. You saw it was noticeably easier for me to stay balanced when I could use both of my hands. Well, the same is true for government. When only one person, like a king, has all of the power, the laws don't stay very balanced for long. But what the framers of our Constitution decided at the Constitutional Convention was to separate power amongst different branches of government, in that way creating a more fair or balanced form of government. You'll first learn about this system, which is called a federal system. That is, power is divided between different levels of government. We have the national or federal government, and then each state has their own government. And some things states are allowed to do, and some things only the national government or the federal government is allowed to do. The tricky part is finding the right balance between these levels. What things should the national government be allowed to do, and what things should only the state governments be allowed to do? You'll read about that in this chapter. Next, you'll learn about how the framers separated the power so that there would be a better balance in the government. For example, in our government, we have 3 branches. The first is the legislative. They get to make the laws. They're called legislators. They can make any law they want. Now that sounds like a lot of power, but the executive branch has the ability to check or balance that power. The executive branch ultimately is made up of the president. Warning, warning, warning. 3 branches doing their branchy thing. 3 branches of government, that's right. You got the executive branch and the legislative branch and the judicial branch. I think it's the judicial branch. I could never remember that last one. There are 3 branches of government. You've got legislative, executive, and judicial. And they're all really important. So keep paying attention to this video and do your readings because they're very important things that you should be doing. It's really a tremendous system. Believe me, I know lots of systems. It's tremendous, okay? And in the executive branch, their job, the president's job, and everybody working for the president, their job is to enforce the laws and make sure that everybody follows them. Finally, the judicial branch is where we have our courts. They help interpret the laws and make sure that they're being applied fairly. Ultimately, this branch contains the Supreme Court, which is the highest court in our country. Finally, you'll learn about the Great Compromise. Remember how the big states wanted more representatives and the smaller states wanted the same number of representatives? Well, they battled back and forth and finally decided, let's just do both. So today, in our legislative branch of government, we have 2 houses. The House of Representatives, which is based on population, and the Senate, where each state has an equal number of votes. That way, both the small states and the big states get something they want. In Utah, we have 2 senators. Our population is about 3 million people. In California, they also get 2 senators, even though their population is 39 million people. Well, that's the kind of law that we in Utah like because we're a smaller state. But, to be fair to the larger states, we have the House of Representatives. In Utah, we have 4 representatives that represent our population. It's based on population because we have 3 million people. That entitles us to 4 representatives. But in California, they have way more people. Therefore, they get more representatives in the House. Now you may be wondering, Mr. Turco, how do we know how many people are in each state? Have we counted accurately? Well, that's why we have a census every 10 years. Hi, I'm Mr. Turco. When I'm not busy making fun history videos, I'm talking to you about very important issues, like the census. The census is for our people. Stretching across the United States, we are one family, and our community matters. Participating in the 2020 census ensures our communities and our needs are taken into account, and our own family's responses are always confidential. Shape our future. Start here at 2020census.gov. If you're still not sure how all of this works, that's okay. It's time to read Chapter 7, where you will learn more about how this all works.